We live in the age of the 4-hour deep clean. Bleach in one hand, a scrub brush in the other. Knees on cold tile at 11 at night because tomorrow guests are coming and the grout still looks gray no matter how hard you scrub. The average person spends almost 6 hours a week cleaning their home, and the bathroom alone eats up more of that time, more of that dread, than almost any other room in the house. And yet, in homes across Japan, the bathroom is cleaned in under 5 minutes a day. No weekend deep clean marathon. No mildew creeping along the shower curtain. No black ring around the tub that requires 3 different chemical sprays and an hour of your Saturday. Walk into an ordinary apartment in Osaka, in Kyoto, in a small town you've never heard of, and the bathroom looks like it was cleaned an hour ago, every time. What if I told you this is almost nothing to do with expensive cleaning products, or fancy tile, or some obsessive-compulsive national trait? Their secret isn't a better sponge. It isn't more free time. Japanese work hours are notoriously long. It isn't genetics and it certainly isn't money. It's a rule, an actual specific, teachable rule about how a bathroom is supposed to be used, a rule most Western homes have never even heard of, let alone practiced. And the cleaning industry that sells you $30 mold sprays and specialty grout pens has no interest in you ever finding out that you don't need any of it. By the end of this video, you'll understand exactly what that rule is, why it works on a level your brain doesn't even register consciously, and how to apply it in a home that wasn't even built for it. Stay with me, because the last practice, the one almost nobody outside Japan knows, is the one that makes everything else possible. Body Preceptus number 1. You clean your bathroom once a week, if that. It becomes a project. You put it off, dread it, and by the time you finally do it, you're fighting buildup that's had 7 days to harden. Shiso, da, ashis. A Japanese word meaning cleaning, but used specifically in a very different sense than the English word implies. It's one of the 5 pillars of a philosophy called the 5S system. Originally used in Japanese manufacturing and adopted into daily life, Siri, Sitan Seiso Seiketsu Shitoke, sort. Set in order, clean, standardize, sustain. In a Japanese home, the bathroom isn't cleaned. It's maintained every single day in under 90 seconds immediately after use. Not once a week, not when it gets bad. Every day, small. Before anything has the chance to set. Here's what that actually looks like. After the last shower of the night, a quick pass with a squeegee across the walls and glass, a wipe of the sink basin with a small cloth kept hanging right there, in reach, not buried under the sink in a cabinet 3 rooms away, 30 seconds, maybe less. And it's done before you've even left the room. Here's why this works on your brain, even when you don't consciously notice it. Behavioral psychologist Wendy Wood at the University of Southern California has spent decades studying why some routines stick and others collapse. And her research points to a consistent pattern. Habits succeed not because of low power, but because of friction. The lower the friction, the fewer steps, the less time, the less decision-making required, the more automatically a behavior repeats. A once-a-week deep clean has enormous friction. It requires motivation, planning, often dread. A 90-second wipe down has almost none. It doesn't require you to decide to clean. It requires you to finish what you were already doing, showering with one extra motion. This is also why mold and soap scum never get the chance to become a project in the first place. Biofilm, the sticky layer that becomes visible mildew, starts forming within 24 to 48 hours in a consistently wet environment. If you interrupt that cycle daily, the film never has time to mature into the stubborn, dark buildup that takes bleach and elbow grease to remove. You're not fighting grime, you're preventing it from ever forming. Think about what that actually means for your week. Instead of one dreaded hour on a Saturday morning, you have 7 tiny, almost invisible moments, each one so small it barely registers as cleaning at all. There's no buildup of dread, because there's no buildup of anything. The task and the mess are never allowed to grow past a size you can undo in the time it takes to towel off. But here's the thing. A squeegee habit alone doesn't explain a spotless bathroom. There's something else happening architecturally, something almost no Western bathroom is designed to support. Body prastits, number 2. Your bathroom mat is damp. Your bath towels smell faintly musty no matter how often you wash them. Your carpeted or wallpapered bathroom holds onto moisture in a way that seems impossible to fully dry out. Kanki. Nesan netam. Ventilation. Specifically, the deliberate, near-obsessive removal of humidity from a space, not just after use, but as an ongoing architectural principle. In a traditional Japanese bathroom, the toilet, the sink, and the wet bathing area, the overo, are often 3 completely separate rooms, not one combined space. Water only ever touches the wet room. The floor there is waterproof, sloped toward a drain end after bathing. The exhaust fan runs, not for 5 minutes, but for a résonne overnight, specifically engineered to pull every trace of humidity out of the space before anyone uses it again. There is no carpet to trap moisture, no wallpaper to absorb it, no fabric shower curtain slowly incubating mildew in its folds. Every surface in that room is built to shed water instantly and dry completely, every single day. This isn't superstition, it's basic microbiology. Mold spores are everywhere constantly, in nearly every environment on Earth. They don't cause visible growth because spores exist. They cause growth because of sustained moisture. Researchers studying indoor air quality and mold ecology have consistently found that relative humidity above 60%, sustained for more than a day, is the tipping point where dormant spores begin active colonization. Drop the humidity below that threshold consistently, and the spores simply don't get the conditions they need. They stay dormant. A Japanese wet room, aggressively ventilated after every use, almost never crosses that threshold for long. A Western bathroom, steamy carpeted curtained, poorly ventilated, humid for hours after hot shower, crosses it constantly. This is why you can scrub your shower curtain every single week and still find pink and black spots creeping back within days. You're treating a symptom. You're not removing the condition that causes it. But architecture and airflow still don't fully explain it. Because even in a small rental apartment with no separate wet room, no fancy ventilation system, Japanese bathrooms still stay spotless. And that comes down to something almost nobody talks about, a rule about what is allowed to enter the room in the first place. Body prosectus number 3. Your bathroom floor is genuinely disgusting by any objective measure, not from the shower, but from everything you track in on your feet, your shoes-the hallway carpet, the whole rest of the house, funneled directly onto the same tile where you also bathe. Kikai, hiu onkai. Originally a term from Buddhist and Shinto tradition meaning a boundary that separates a sacred or pure space from the ordinary world outside it. In the modern home, it's repurposed into something wonderfully practical, a strict boundary of cleanliness that nothing from outside is allowed to cross. This is the part that sounds almost too small to matter, and that's exactly why nobody talks about it. In nearly every Japanese home, there is a separate pair of slippers that exist only for the bathroom, kept just inside the door. Put on the instant you step in. Remove the instant you step out. The house slippers you wear everywhere else never touch that floor. Bare feet from the rest of the house never touch that floor. It sounds trivial. It is not. Studies on household contamination, including work published through the University of Arizona's microbiology lab, which has tracked bacterial transfer through homes for years, have repeatedly found that floors are among the dirtiest surfaces in any house, and that contamination travels primarily through foot traffic, carried from room to room on sock slippers and bare feet. Every step from the living room, the hallway, outside the front door, carries bacteria and organic residue, and every one of those steps, in a typical Western home, eventually lands on the same tile where you shower and brush your teeth. The Kekai boundary interrupts that transfer completely. The bathroom floor is never touched by anything that has been anywhere else. It only ever encounters clean, wet feet, straight from the shower. This single habit, which costs nothing, requires no product, and takes zero extra time, removes an entire category of grime before it ever has the chance to accumulate. And notice what this does psychologically too. The moment you put on a slipper that only exists for one room, you're signaling to your own brain that you've crossed into a different kind of space, one with different rules. It's the same reason a chef changes into a clean apron before service. The boundary isn't just physical. It's a small, repeated ritual that makes the entire room feel and behave like something worth protecting. And here's the part where all three of these come together, because none of these practices work in isolation. It's the fourth and final piece that makes the whole system self-sustaining. And it's the one almost no cleaning guide ever mentions. Body practice number 4. You own a mountain of bathroom products, 6 different sprays, a pumice stone, a grout pen, a miracle foam that promises to dissolve soap scum in 60 seconds, and somehow the bathroom is still never quite clean, because managing all of it has become its own exhausting task. Mano ga sukunai, kranjurega knows. It literally, few things, an extension of a broader philosophy of restraint that shows up throughout Japanese domestic life. The fewer objects occupying a space, the fewer surfaces there are for dirt, dust, and moisture to collect on, and the less there is to manage in the first place. A typical Japanese bathroom counter holds almost nothing. No forest of half-used bottles. No decorative soap dishes collecting a ring of residue underneath. No stacked baskets of products nobody's touched in months. What's needed is kept used and returned to a closed cabinet, not displayed, not left to collect a film of dust and humidity on top. This connects directly back to Wendy Wood's friction research from earlier, but from the opposite direction. Every object on a surface is a micro-decision and a micro-obstacle. Cleaning a counter with 15 bottles on it means moving 15 bottles. Cleaning a counter with 2 means wiping it in 3 seconds. Environmental psychologists, including foundational work from Kurt Lewin on how physical environments shape behavior almost involuntarily, have long shown that the design of a space predicts behavior more reliably than willpower does. A cluttered surface doesn't just look messier, it makes the daily 30-second wipe down from practice 1 meaningfully harder, which means it's meaningfully more likely to get skipped. Take away the clutter, and the daily habit stops requiring motivation. It becomes almost literally the path of least resistance. This is the piece that ties everything together. The daily say-so wipe down works because it's fast. It's fast because there's nothing in the way. There's nothing in the way because of monogasu kunai. The room stays dry because of kanki, and it stays uncontaminated in the first place because of kekai. Remove any one piece, and the whole system gets harder. Combine all 4, and the bathroom essentially cleans itself, one small effortless moment at a time. So here's the truth underneath all 4 of these practices. A spotless bathroom was never actually about cleaning harder. It was never about the right chemical, the right brush, the right $99 gadget from an infomercial. Every single one of those products exists to help you win a battle that a completely different approach would let you avoid fighting in the first place. A clean bathroom is not the absence of dirt through effort. It is the absence of the conditions dirt needs to survive. Interrupt moisture daily, and mold never gets its window. Draw a boundary at the door, and contamination never gets in. Clear the surfaces, and the small habit that keeps it all going never becomes a chore worth avoiding. None of it demands extra time. All of it demands a different starting rule. You don't need a new spray. You don't need a better sponge. You need 30 seconds squeegee, a pair of slippers by the door, and a willingness to do the small thing today instead of the big thing next Saturday. Somewhere right now, someone is on their knees scrubbing a ring out of a tub that never needed to form in the first place, reaching for a stronger chemical, when what they actually needed was a different rule, applied a little every day for free. So here's my question for you, and I genuinely like to know, Which one of these 4 rules is already closest to something you do? And which one are you going to start tonight? The very next time you step out of the shower, let me know in the comments. And if this shifted the way you think about a room you walk into every single day without ever really seeing it, subscribe, because there's a lot more hiding in plain sight in the everyday spaces we've simply stopped questioning. I'll see you in the next one.